Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a massive fundamental shift that's happening right now in how people find information online, but more importantly, how they find you. You see, we're rapidly transitioning away from traditional search engines and moving straight toward AI platforms. To really wrap our heads around how to navigate this, we're going to objectively review a brand new framework called the AI Visibility System by Val Wilson. We'll be drawing on the creator's own documentation, plus a really comprehensive block-by-block breakdown from clickretina.com. So we're going to unpack exactly what it takes to capture this massive new wave of traffic.
Okay, let's dive into this. The sources are pointing out a massive shift over just the past 12 months. And honestly, it's one that a lot of marketers haven't even fully clocked yet. We're all so used to the old way, right? You have a question, you type it into Google, you scan a page of blue links, and you click around. But the 2026 reality, it is entirely different. A rapidly growing slice of the population is just bypassing traditional search completely. They're going straight to ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, or Gemini, and they're simply asking direct questions like, hey, who should I learn affiliate marketing from? Or what's the absolute best email tool for beginners? And when they ask that, the AI has to give a name. So the big question we're exploring today is, how do you make sure that name is yours?
Now, if there is one massive aha paradigm shift you take away from this explainer, it's absolutely this. AI does not pick the most talented person, it picks the person it recognizes. I know, it's incredibly frustrating for genuine experts, but it's just the reality of how these large language models operate. AI doesn't evaluate talent. It literally doesn't know who's the smartest, who works the hardest, or who has the most experience in a specific niche. It purely evaluates recognized data patterns. As the sources point out, if AI hasn't seen the right data patterns for you, well, as far as those systems are concerned, you might as well not exist. It's just going to recommend someone else simply because it recognizes them as a credible source.
So, how do we actually bridge that gap from being totally invisible to being recognized? Well, it all comes down to this one core concept: the AI authority signal. This is the exact metric that separates the invisible marketers from the ones who actually get recommended. And listen, these aren't just random posts. They are deliberate data markers placed across the web. Their entire purpose is to literally train the AI models to recognize you as a credible entity and to strictly associate your name with a specific topic. You're essentially handing the AI the exact breadcrumbs it's already looking for to validate your expertise.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how this pattern recognition actually works in practice. It starts right at the foundation with your name. Then your name gets connected to your topic. That connection is reinforced by your content. But it doesn't stop there. AI actually needs external validation, right? Which comes from mentions by others, and finally, formal citations across the web. When AI sees this specific connection repeated often enough, it stops seeing you as just random text and actually starts recognizing you as an authoritative entity. So it's not about just telling the AI you're an expert, it's about making sure that data across the internet keeps reinforcing that idea over and over.
All right, let's move into our next section, inside the AI Visibility System, a blueprint for recognition.
Before we get into the actual tactics, it's always important to look at the credibility of the creator, right? Who is the architect behind this system? Well, this is Val Wilson. According to the review data, he's based over in Northern Ireland, running Tickety Marketing Ltd. And he's actually been active in internet marketing since 2008. And you know, in this industry, that means he's survived multiple major shifts. But what really stands out in the source material is his backstory. He was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, which is a condition causing progressive blindness, and he actually built his online business out of absolute necessity when running his family farm just became unsustainable. Reviewers consistently note that his products are highly practical, measured, and distinctly light on hype, which, let's be honest, is a pretty refreshing change in the digital marketing space.
And that measured, hype-free approach is immediately apparent in the entry point. $19. I mean, big brands and enterprise agencies are currently waking up to this AI traffic shift, and they are paying literally thousands of dollars a month to specialist firms just to build their AI presence. But what the sources emphasize here is that Val Wilson has packaged the DIY version of this exact same underlying logic into a core PDF guide for just $19. It's an incredibly low barrier to entry for strategies that are frankly commanding premium agency retainers right now.
However, the review from ClickRetina exercises some radical transparency here, and it's absolutely crucial that we do too. The most important point is understanding what this system is not. If you're looking for some magic push-button hack or an overnight software trick to somehow spoof the algorithms, this isn't it. The creator is extremely upfront about this. You cannot trick or hack AI into recognizing you overnight. There's just no way. You can only engineer the authentic signals that help it understand who you are. And yeah, that requires actual, deliberate work.
Which brings us to this number, 12 weeks. I've stacked this right after the price because I really want to emphasize a key takeaway from the review. While the financial cost is extremely low, the time investment is very real. This whole system is structured around a 12-week roadmap of consistent implementation. The review makes it very clear. Just reading the guide once and hoping for the best, it's not going to work. It's the consistent application over those 12 weeks that actually builds the authority trail the AI needs to see.
And this brilliantly illustrates what's actually inside the guide. The sources highlight several highly tactical strategies. For instance, there's a 3-sentence identity formula that helps AI understand exactly who you are, without any flowery, confusing language. It covers how to physically structure your website so the automated AI bots, the crawlers, instantly grasp your niche. It details an authority breadcrumb strategy that quietly teaches AI who you are across various platforms. It even reveals an overlooked database used by AI systems that can literally elevate your status from just another person online to a fully recognized entity.
To give you a completely balanced view, let's look at the objective pros and cons breakdown from the ClickRetina review. On the pros side, the core insight regarding how large language models actually work is solid and really well-reasoned. The implementation framework is highly realistic, the creator's credibility is high, and at just $19, the financial risk is incredibly low. On the cons side, exactly as we've discussed, it requires that consistent 12-week effort. It is absolutely not an instant traffic fix. It must be applied deliberately. You really have to evaluate if this fits your personal work ethic and your long-term goals.
But for those who do put in the work, the community feedback highlighted in the sources is really strong. Take this quote from a user, Barry Rogers. He says it is a really solid, well-researched, and well-delivered step-by-step guide to establishing you or your business as an authority in the age of AI search. It provides a great human perspective, confirming that Val's step-by-step instructions actually translate really well from concept into daily practice. Bringing all this data together, the independent review delivers a final verdict of 4.2 out of 5 stars. The overall consensus is that it's a wonderfully structured guide to a genuinely underexploited opportunity that, honestly, most marketers are still totally unaware of. And with a 7-day money-back guarantee, the risk-reward ratio falls heavily in the favor of anyone who's genuinely serious about building a long-term, future-proof online presence.
We'll wrap up today's explainer with a pretty provocative question drawn directly from Val Wilson's own materials. Look, the AI traffic window is wide open right now, but it won't be forever. As these systems solidify their recommended voices, it's going to become much harder to break in. So you really have to ask yourself, do you want AI to recognize your expertise or keep sending buyers to someone else? It's a fascinating landscape, and the choice of whether to remain invisible or start building those signals is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer.